Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, and thank you so much for tuning in with me today. Now in today's video I am going to be ranking all of the foundations that were released in 2022 and that I was able to try out. So all in all, in 2022 I was actually able to pick up 10 different foundations slash skin tints that were released this year. So most of these foundations, I think with the exception of one, all of these were actually featured on my channel, and I had reviewed them when they came out, when they were released, and I thought it would be a really fun idea to actually rank them. Now I do want to mention that everyone's experience with makeup is very different. So this is solely my opinion on these products, you know, my honest review on the products and my experience that I would love to share with you guys. That does not mean that a product that did not work for me may not work for you and vice versa. So just take this with a grain of salt because, you know, everyone is very individual in their preferences and what they actually expect out of their makeup products. Some of these foundations definitely made it into my holy grail category and others were just fails, like real fails. And I feel like it's like 50-50. Half of them really did not work well on me, and then the other half, they were just amazing. And of course, I would be very intrigued to know what was your favorite foundation of 2022. So please do drop me a comment below because I'm always intrigued to hear about your experience and I'm always looking forward reading the comments. Also, in case this is your very first video or in case you just have not yet subscribed to my channel, I would absolutely love to keep you on here a little bit longer. So why not hit the subscribe button? You can also ring the bell in order to stay notified about my upcoming videos. And if you do find this video helpful or you just enjoy it, why not give it a big thumbs up? That would be extremely appreciated. I'm also going to make a video on my top favorite beauty products and also on my fails. So those are going to be released in January, so just keep an eye out on those. I will definitely shoot these videos in the future, but today I thought it would be great to just start off with the foundations. So because I actually have picked up 10 different foundations that were released this year, I kind of feel like this video is going to be a top 10, and I feel like we are going to start off with the worst product and then we are slowly going to work ourselves up to the best product. But yeah, without no further ado, let's just go ahead and let's rank the 10 foundations of 2022, and let's kick it off with number 10. So number 10 actually goes to a product that I have not featured yet on my channel, and I was also really reluctant to feature this. I will do a full face by this brand again because not everything is a massive fail by this brand. I actually had reviewed this brand in the past and I truly enjoyed a lot of their products, but this new release was a massive fail and it's just not good. So number 10 goes to Pacifica Beauty, and this is their Kind Tinted Serum and it retails for $14. So yeah, this was the worst newly released foundation that I've actually tried out. I know it's a skin tint. Now I definitely do have a different sort of expectation from a skin tint than from a foundation, but I just don't understand this product. This product really was kind of a mess and it really did not work out on me. And what I really don't understand is the fact that Pacifica sort of drops amazing products and then they discontinue them, because can you guess what? They actually discontinued their Alight foundation. This came in a glass packaging. It was $16, so $2 more, but I would be happy to actually pay $2 more for this than $2 less for this. I mean, this was such an amazing foundation. The only thing they had to tweak on this was the scent. If they would have removed the scent from this foundation and made it completely fragrance-free, this was such an amazing product. This is actually my second bottle of the foundation. I always thought this was such a good foundation for the price point. I'm kind of glad I still got my hands on a brand new bottle because I always loved this foundation. This was such a great product. It was full coverage. It had more of like a dewy sort of glowy finish, but I was able to powder this down and make it work. This wore well and it was great. So I am just so upset with the fact that they replaced it with this. I mean, why? Why on earth would you do that? I just don't understand it. Another fact is that the Alight foundation actually came in 30 shades, which was good. They had a great shade range with undertones available. I mean, I raved about this foundation, and this is my second bottle of this. So I was a huge fan of this. This product also comes in 12 shades only. So they went from 30 shades down to 12 shades. I am not sure who made that decision. It was a bad decision. So I have this in the shade 19, and this is also a shade mismatch. But because the formula was so mediocre, I actually never picked up a shade that would actually match me. This was too light for me, but you know, I was not sure about the shade range. It was such an odd shade range. There was no real description with the undertones. I just had these weird swatches. So first off, the packaging here is kind of like a downgrade from this lovely glass packaging with a pump. This comes with a squeeze nozzle, and it's plastic. It's probably like recycled plastic, because I know that Pacifica usually recycles their plastic, but still I kind of prefer a nice glass bottle over this. So when I applied this, I ran into a couple of issues. So first off, I did not know how to apply this foundation. I used my fingers. That did not work out. Then I used a brush, did not work out. And with a sponge, it also did not work out. None of this actually worked. And my biggest problem with this product was that it started pilling on me. So it started balling up on me. And that is such a big no-go for any product. I have another product that actually did that. But this was just incredibly difficult to apply. It was incredibly difficult to actually get any kind of coverage out of this. And I felt like my skin looked so much worse than when I started off. I felt like it was just not sitting nicely on the skin. The fact that it pilled, it just dried down way too quickly. Like, my skin completely disagreed with this product. And the finish on this was weird. I mean, it was patchy. It was pilling, the consistency, the texture of this product, none of it worked. And unfortunately, this is the loser of today. I mean, I wish this would have worked on me. Don't understand me wrong, because I like the brand. I usually like their products, but this really wasn't it. Okay, so let's move on to number 9, which is kind of like a similar product, but a lot more expensive. So this is the Summer Fridays Sheer Skin Tint, and this retails for $42. Again, a brand that I truly enjoy. Summer Fridays is actually a really good skincare brand. I really do like their oil-free moisturizer. That is one of my favorite moisturizers of all time. So I was really intrigued when Summer Fridays actually released their first makeup product. But this was such a fail on my skin as well. And I know a lot of people actually do enjoy this product. But again, the formula here just does not work. This product really reminded me of the Kosas Tinted Skin Oil, which really just aggravated my skin. The texture here is almost similar. It's super runny. And I did not really expect much from this product. A lot of online reviews actually said that this really did not give them any coverage whatsoever. I've got to say the coverage level on this was okay. I was able to build it up a little bit. And I think I used this with a brush, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I used it with a sponge. I can't remember what I was using it with. But, you know, I tried it out for like a couple of days, and then I was just like, this just does not work on me. And again, it's the same issue. This pills. It pills so much. It pills on my temples. It pills on my jawline. I mean, it balls up. So I will never use a product that pills up on me. And I tried this without a primer. I tried it with a primer, you know. I tried it even with my fingers. It was like not agreeing with my skin whatsoever. I really wanted it to work because it is quite pricey. And I have to say, this is just overpriced in terms of what it's delivering. So this product actually also just comes in 10 shades. I was lucky enough that I picked out the right shade straight away. I picked up the shade 4, which is actually described as a light to medium with neutral olive undertones. Now this feels like a pretty neutral kind of undertone. I don't think it's too olive. I'm not an olive undertone. I'm neutral, leaning cool. And this worked on my skin though. I used this in the summer, but again, the pilling situation was kind of unbearable. And every time I would use this product, it would do exactly the same. So the finish on this is also very glowy. That's why it reminded me of the Kosas Tinted Face Oil. And it's super oily, greasy, and I just don't really like these type of foundations that do like give me an insane sort of glow that almost looks borderline greasy. I really prefer more of a satin foundation or like a natural finish, leaning matte maybe. If I can powder down something dewy, it's still fine. So yeah, this is like the second worst product that I've tried out this year. But I know a lot of people actually love this product, and for a lot of people it didn't do the pilling. So this is very, very personal. But yeah, it just did not work out for me. So let's move on to number 8. And this for me is also sort of like a failed product. It's not as bad as like the Pacifica one and the Summer Fridays one, but it just, in the long run, it just did not work out for me. And this is the Haus Labs Triclone Skin Tack Foundation, and this retails for $45. So this product is a pretty new release. I think this was released in September, October, around the fall time. And I did dedicate an entire video on 3 products by Haus Labs. And unfortunately, this foundation is just not it. I've got to be honest, I love Lady Gaga, but this foundation does not work well on my skin. Also, I feel like this foundation was so hyped up. It looks so pretty. I mean, the packaging here is stunning. This frosted glass bottle, and it comes with a pump. And I gave this foundation like a fair amount of like tries, you know. I actually tried this out for like a good 2 weeks in a row, but there are so many drawbacks for me personally when it comes to this type of foundation and this formula. First off, this is also one of these foundations that does claim to have like a bunch of skincare benefits, and maybe this has too many skincare ingredients in here. And also certain ingredients in here I feel like made me not like the foundation at all. First off, there are a bunch of oils in this foundation, and it's so like oily to a point where it did start clogging my pores over the long term. And some of the oils are better than other oils, but in general, my skin does not do well with a lot of like oil, especially if it's a mixture of oils. And I feel like the mixture of oils in here, it just did not work out well with my skin. And another thing that I feel like contributed to this being a fail for me was the fact that this does contain denatured alcohol, and it's pretty high up the list. And over time, this clogged my pores. Over time, it actually really made me break out. And I try to avoid products that make me break out, so I really do have to avoid this product. A good thing though about this foundation is the fact that it comes in 51 shades. I've got this in the shade 200, which is a light medium with neutral undertones. So the texture here, it is a really like liquidy, runny foundation, but it's also well pigmented. You know, this is going to give you medium coverage straight away. However, you know, the finish on this, it's not my cup of tea. This is so luminous, radiant, and glowy to a point that it looks greasy. And in the beginning, I thought, you know, I'm just gonna try out certain powders that will mattify my skin. And I tried this with a billion gazillion powders, but it does just not change the outcome, which is the fact that this will not stay put on my skin. This does not perform well. It does not wear well. It breaks up on me. It looks so makeup-y on my skin after a couple of hours. So it really gets oily on my skin. It makes my skin look horrendous after a couple of hours. And no matter what powder I used, no matter what setting spray I used, no matter what primer I used, I was not able to make this work. And my skin, after continuous use, just did not like this product. I think it's because of the denatured alcohol. My skin does not do well with denatured alcohol. It's a very drying alcohol. There are actually some nice K-beauty inspired sort of skincare ingredients in this, but the denatured alcohol just destroys the experience here. And again, this is very personal to my skin type, to my experience, but it just did not work well. It did not wear well. It just did not perform, and my skin was clogging up. So I kind of stay away from this, and unfortunately, I just don't like it. It was a nice thought. I do appreciate, you know, the inclusivity of the shade range here. I do like the packaging, but if the product inside does not work for my skin, you know, it does not matter at all. And I really wanted to love this product, but it's just a hard pass for me. So let's move on to number 7. And unfortunately, this foundation also just did not work for me. So this is the Fit Glow Foundation Plus, and this retails for $55. So as much as I love this brand, I have so many videos on Fit Glow where I'm raving about their products, but this newly released foundation, which was a replacement for their Vita Active foundation that I actually used to like, was more like a whipped sort of creamy foundation. I mean, it did get a little bit oily on me after a couple of hours wear time, and the shade range was abysmal, you know. It only came in 9 different shades. Now this is available in 18 shades, so they actually have doubled up the shade range, which I really do appreciate. But the foundation in it of itself, oh no, this did not work on my skin for a couple of reasons. Let's start off with the packaging here. I really wanted to show you this because it's actually a really pretty nice frosted glass bottle again. But one thing that I really don't like is when foundations do this. Instead of having like a pump, they come with a doe foot. It's not like a complete fail, but yet I never reach for this. And it's quite an expensive product as well. It's really pricey, $55, and it just does not perform great. So as I mentioned, this does come in 18 shades. I do have the shade 2.5, which is a light shade with neutral undertones. The shade immediately matched me, so that was good news. And I do like the shade, but yeah, the product in and of itself, this did not work with a sponge. I really have to go in with a brush when I apply this product. But my biggest issue is how this actually sits on the skin. This product really does not sit well on my face, you know. This is an oil-based foundation, and the very first ingredient is castor seed oil, followed by grapeseed oil, followed by jojoba seed oil, followed by sunflower seed wax. And then they also went on with just adding a bunch of skincare ingredients here, which are really nice, you know. They actually put in some green tea leaf extract, some licorice root extract, some vitamin C, some bamboo juice, some bearberry leaf extract, some radish root ferment filtrate. I mean, the ingredient list sounds really amazing, you know. The way this was sitting on my skin, it was so transfery. This really did not dry down one bit. It would always kind of just sit around on your skin. I think the problem is really that they went from an aloe vera based foundation to an oil based foundation. And yeah, oil and my skin, I feel like those are two worlds that don't get along. And this is no exception. This product broke up on me. It did not wear well. It was just transfery. The coverage level on this was actually nice. This had a really good amount of coverage, medium buildable coverage. But the more I was building this up, the more I got into trouble. I feel like the finish on this was quite like satin, natural. It wasn't too glowy or anything. It wasn't too luminous. It was just a formula here that did not work out on me that well. I never really reach for it. It does not work well with my skin type, and I just don't like it if a product really has no dry down, even though I powder it, you know. It just does not work for me, and I honestly preferred the formula that they had before, and that is a little bit of a shame. So I really don't enjoy this product whatsoever. So these 4 foundations slash skin tints were kind of fails for me, and I don't like them. But yeah, we are going to move on to some products that are a little bit better. I have 2 products that I feel like are okay. They are not the best, but they are also not the worst. The way these compare is just, they are just kind of average, like, meh, okay, it's fine, you know, I can get away with it depending on what I'm doing with them, but they are also not my favorite products. So let's actually continue with number 6. Number 6 goes to the Honest Beauty CCC Clean Corrective Tinted Moisturizer, and this retails for $24. So my latest video is actually a full face review by Honest Beauty, so if you want to hear like all of the details on this product, head over to that video. You know, I'm not going to go too much in depth in today's video because otherwise I feel like we'd be sitting here for hours and hours on end. So I just want to make it quick and to the point. But yeah, this product is okay. It's actually a reformulation of her previously released tinted moisturizer. So this year she actually updated the formula and the shade range. The shade range is still not great. This only has 9 shades, and I think it's the one product with the least amount of shades. You might not be able to find your correct undertone. Even I'm struggling because I have this in the shade Terra, which is described as a light with neutral undertones. However, this is pretty yellow on my skin, you know. I feel like it's still too yellow and we need more cool tones, you know, or at least make like a proper neutral undertone because it's still leaning very, very yellow. So this product, I can kind of work with it. What I like about this product is the fact that it has some SPF. It has titanium dioxide 2.4% and zinc oxide at 13%. The consistency of this product, it is pretty lightweight and kind of runny, not too runny. It's still creamy, a little bit runnier, but not completely liquidy, you know. It's not as liquidy as the Summer Fridays Sheer Skin Tint, for example. But don't be fooled. If this goes onto your skin, and I do apply this with a sponge, it has like a thick consistency. And it's kind of fascinating because in the beginning you're gonna think, oh, this is very, very lightweight. Once this goes onto the skin, it kind of behaves a little bit differently. What I really do enjoy about this product is the coverage level. This is really buildable, you know, you can definitely build this up. It's not going to be doing anything like pilling or looking like super like weird straight away. But mind you, after a couple of hours, depending on what powder you are going to be using, it might look a little bit strange. It might like enhance texture. And if you actually build this up like to a full coverage level, this is very luminous, very glowy. Also, it does not really dry down that well. So I actually use the Honest Beauty powder, which I'm also not the biggest fan of because it's such a like heavy, mattifying sort of like powder that literally sucks out the life out of your skin. But when I used it with their powder and with their setting spray, this product actually worked and it did not break up on me. It really held up fine, but when I used it with different powders and when I used this over the summer, now it's winter where I'm at, it just looked crazy greasy after a couple of hours and it really enhanced my pores, it enhanced my texture, it did not blur them out. But now when I used it with the Honest Beauty products in combination, I was so surprised that I kind of like made this product work a lot better. So in that sense, it's like an icky product, you know. You could make it work depending on what products you are using with this, or it just might be a complete fail. So I don't think it's the worst product, but it's also not a product that I would be raving about. I feel like for the price point, it's actually okay. It's $24, so it's actually one of the more affordable sort of clean beauty skin tints, skin moisturizers, tinted moisturizers, whatever you want to call it, with an SPF. So I think it's okay, but it's also not my favorite one. It's just about okay, and you have to like do certain things to make it work, but it's not a complete fail. So we are going to move up the ladder here, and I feel like from now on the products are actually really decent and some of them are really amazing. So let's actually continue with number 5. So this is the Rose Inc Skin Enhance Luminous Tinted Serum, and this retails for $49. I actually have recently reviewed a full face by Rose Inc on my channel, so if you are interested in more products by them, I would highly suggest to actually head over to that video. And yeah, I did review this product in the video. It's number 5 for today compared to all of these other foundations. This is a skin tint. It's actually like more of a hydrating sort of serum-y foundation. This actually does have a very interesting texture and it does some really amazing things for my skin. Yet it's not quite the most perfect product, but it is the best skin tint of today. So first off, this texture, it's like a really hydrating gel sort of serum hybrid with micro encapsulated pigment spheres. So they are going to burst when you actually blend this out. When you take a brush and you blend this out on your skin, this is really beautiful. It does do a pretty amazing job in actually balancing the skin tone. It's going to give you more of a light coverage kind of. I mean, it's a skin tint, so it's not like full coverage and stuff. and it's really lovely actually. It looked really nice on my skin. However, I'm not the biggest fan of this luminous finish again. Super luminous, like I cannot wear this without powder. And also I would not put this on my skin if I would do something like special, if I would have to go somewhere important. Like I wear this at home, or if I just run some random errands, I actually grab this product, you know. This is not the most buildable product in the world. So that is also my one con kind of issue, apart from the luminous sort of finish, which I can kind of powder down. The fact that this really does not build up is kind of a shame, because this almost dries down too quickly. It is still a little bit flexible, and the way I found out to use it is actually to use a lot of product. If I use a lot of product straight away, it's not that much of an issue, but if I slowly try to build this up, it is kind of an issue, because the fact of the matter is that when you put on several layers, you are going to disrupt the very first layer that you put on because of the dry down. Like my skin drinks up the hydration in this product so quickly that when I go over with a second layer, it just does not work, and I can't really build this one up. I mean, who am I to judge this because of its finish? It's called luminous tinted serum. So my expectations were also set up in advance. It's nice, it's lovely, you know, if you don't need a lot of coverage, if you just want something to actually, you know, hydrate your skin, make it look nicer, balance out your skin tone, that's lovely. This product comes in 14 different shades, so again, not the biggest shade range in the world. I have the shade 050, which is described as a medium with pink undertone, so just be mindful. This actually leans pretty fair. So I initially picked up the shade 040, I think. It was a light to medium with neutral undertones, and it was way too light for me. Even in the winter, I have to use a medium shade for it to work. The shade range is a little bit weird, but I was able to find a shade that matches me. Again, if you are interested in more details on this product, I did recently upload a video on this entire brand. And actually, I have reviewed all of the foundations in today's video, apart from number 10, the Pacifica one. You know, all of these have separate videos if you do want more information on these products. So this was my number 5. So let's actually move on to number 4. And this is a product that I also had in one of my recent videos that was released, I think, beginning of September, maybe. I might be mistaken. I'm not the best in remembering when everything came out, but it's quite a new product. So this is the Hourglass Ambient Soft Glow Foundation, and this retails for $58. In all honesty, this is a foundation that I really, really love. And this is one of these foundations that came out this year where I was kind of really intrigued. And it would actually make it up higher in my ranking. However, there are a couple of things about this foundation that kind of made it drop a little bit on the list, because I almost gave it number 3 spot. But then I thought about it and I'm like, no, wait, this shade range. The shade range, it's just not perfect, although it comes in a lot of shades. So they actually do have 32 shades, which is kind of okay. But my biggest problem here was the fact that they did not cater for a light to medium, neutral, leaning, cool undertone. These undertones are so bizarre. I have no words. Like, I ended up having to buy 4 different freaking shades, and I only kept 2. I was so happy to be able to give away like 2 foundations that really did not work for me, and that was the neutral undertone. The neutral undertone here leans very yellow, and then the cool undertone leans really peachy. So I was just like, what is happening here? These undertones, I mean, who made these undertones? They are so bizarre. And that is really one of the only reasons why this product is not higher up. So I was really disappointed in the fact that I'm not able to actually have a perfect shade. I have to mix 2 different shades together in order to get my correct undertone. I'm glad it's working. It's just a little bit of a hassle. And I don't really would suggest to anyone buying 2 foundations at this price point in order to actually get their correct undertone. The whole thing is just inconvenient if you have to mix 2 foundation shades together in order to get your shade. And I don't understand why the light to medium category, they've got 3 different neutral undertones. That does not make any sense, you guys. It is just the weirdest thing I have ever seen. I actually ended up keeping the shade 4.5, which is a light with cool undertones, and the shade 9.5, which is a medium with cool undertones. Again, these lean super peachy, but I rather have something peachy than yellow because the neutral ones were just super yellow and it did not work. I really do enjoy the texture here. The texture is a little bit creamy, but still like runny, not over the top liquidy, you know, but it's like really lightweight. And this is going to give you an amazing coverage straight away with just a little bit of product. So I love using this on a dampened sponge, and this gives me a medium sort of coverage straight away, and you can definitely build this up. Another thing that I truly love about this foundation is the fact that it has its own dry down. This is not transfery, you know, this actually blurs out my pores. It looks really lovely on my skin. It gives me sort of like a natural kind of satin sort of finish. The one thing is, if you expect this to glow because it's called Soft Glow Foundation, they should have really called this Soft Blur Foundation. It's not glowy. I don't think this is glowy at all. Mind you, I did use some primers underneath it that did mattify my skin as well. It just looks like a second skin on my skin. It does not feel heavy. It feels so lightweight. I can build this up. This looks stunning. I can still put powder on it without running into any issues. And I would say if you have combination skin like me, you would probably love this. This is a really nice one. I'm just saying it's a little bit of abysmal to find your undertone, and yeah, it's quite expensive. So that's why it only made it onto the 4th spot. Otherwise, I would have ranked this a little bit higher up. But those are a couple of things that I did want to mention that weren't that perfect. But all in all, I really do enjoy this product. It's a really nice formula, and I think this is a really pretty foundation that is worth a try. Okay, so let's move on to number 3, and now this is going to be my top 3. And this is like my 3rd spot, and I think this is kind of a really fantastic foundation. And number 3 goes to the Kosas Revealer Skin Improving Foundation SPF 25, and this retails for $42. So when this was released, I was so intrigued because prior to this foundation, they only had this tinted face oil, which really like irritated my skin, and I did not enjoy it whatsoever. It was one of the worst kind of base products that I've ever used. I really did not enjoy that tinted face oil. So I was really intrigued when they actually released a foundation that seemed to match their Revealer concealer that I really love. So this is the Revealer foundation, and here it is. This is a beautiful foundation actually. It's really, really nice. I mean, I really came to love it in the beginning. I did not enjoy it that much because of the wear time, which is still a little bit of a hiccup. It's still not quite perfect, the wear time on this, but it's a beautiful sort of release. It's one of the products with a little bit more of a sort of luminous, dewier sort of finish that I can still powder down, and it's still going to work. So this product actually does come in 36 shades. Now I have 2 different shades here, and the reason for that being is I have a summer shade and I have a winter shade. So my summer shade is actually the shade 200, which is described as a light medium with neutral undertone with subtle pink undertones. So the shade 200 was really deep for me in the winter time. In summer, I did not have any issues with this. This was perfect for the summer, but when I lost my natural tan, I was just kind of like, wow, this is kind of too deep for me now in the winter time. So I picked up a winter shade, and it's the shade 180, which is described as a light plus with cool pink undertones. The way I love to apply this product is actually, I'm using this on a dampened sponge. I feel like the sponge here works the best. I feel like if you would use this on a brush, maybe you would get some streaking because it is a little bit more of a wet texture. I don't run into any issues when I blend this out with a sponge. This gives me a beautiful medium coverage straight away. And this is also buildable. You can definitely build this up, and if you still require more coverage, you can always go in with their Revealer concealer. I mean, if you powder this down with their Cloud Set powder, this product is looking fantastic. Absolutely stunning. You know, I feel like it really depends on the powder that you're using, but their powder, the Kosas powder, really works well with their foundation. It also works super lovely with the concealer. I feel like this is such a nice one. I also like the fact that this does contain a mineral SPF in here, you know, especially for the summer. It was a beautiful foundation, and yeah, this is something where I don't have that many cons. I don't have that many negative points to talk about with this foundation, apart from the wear time, where I do get a little bit oilier in basically my T-zone, let's put it that way. But it's not a complete disaster, the wear time. I feel like if you are using it with the correct products, you can make this work. So this was my number 3, so let's actually move on to number 2. So number 2 goes to Jane Iredale Glow Time Pro BB Cream SPF 25, and this retails for $52. So this product is actually a reformulation of their beloved Glow Time BB Cream, and I actually compared both of these products in my full face of Jane Iredale that I released over the summer. But this foundation, oh my gosh, I mean, I keep calling it foundation, really it's a BB cream, but this has so much coverage. To me, it's really a foundation, to be honest with you. This is so amazing. I'm so happy that they have reformulated this product. This now has no fragrance, you know. It has a very different texture. It's not that really thick full coverage cream. It is still full coverage, like I would say medium to full coverage, but it has a very different texture. It's runnier still, it's like creamy and stuff, but it's not like this thick cream that smelled of lemongrass and grapefruit extracts. This has no scent to it. It still has a little bit of these extracts, but really they put the extracts further down the ingredient list, so they made this less potent. And I think they really nailed it with this product. It's beautiful. The only thing is this also only comes in 14 shades, which is a little bit of a bummer. I wish this was available in a lot more shades, you know, to cater to everyone. I have this in the shade GT4, which is described as a light to medium with neutral peach undertone. It is stunning. The way this blends out, I use a sponge, a dampened sponge. It works perfect with a dampened sponge. Absolutely beautiful. It has more of a natural sort of satin finish. You can also really build this up to a full coverage finish. It's really stunning, the coverage level on this. You don't need a lot of product, let me tell you. I think I did my face with only 2 pumps and that was it. Like a little bit with this product goes a very long way. It's very pigmented. I really just love the fact that you don't need a lot of product to achieve a good amount of coverage. Also, if you don't want that much coverage, you know, don't use that much product. You don't have to build it up necessarily. I think this is the best reformulated product out of all of them. It's grandiose. It's really good, high performing. I truly enjoyed this product, and it's one of my favorite sort of clean beauty foundations of all time, and it's really, really great. So top notch. So this was my number 2. So we are almost at the top of my list now. Before we are moving on to my number 1 product, I do just want to throw in a product in here which just deserves an honorable mention, because in all honesty, this would make my number 1 if it would have been released this year. This was actually released at the end of 2021, so it was not really a 2022 release, but I just wanted to have mentioned it because this really is one of the foundations that I use the most throughout the year, and it's one of the best foundations of all time, I would say, and I just love it. So before we are moving on to number 1, just really quickly, I do want to just highlight this foundation because it almost made it in today's video, you know, and it's just because of the release date that it did not. So this is the Lisa Eldridge Seamless Skin Foundation, and this retails for $61. I know this is a super expensive kind of product, but it's one of my favorite foundations of all time. And again, this is a product where a little bit goes a long way. Here it is. This is actually my 2nd bottle of this. I freaking love this so much. I think this is my most used foundation of the year with my number 1. They are kind of sharing this spot of the most used foundations. I actually picked this up in a new undertone. I actually had the shade number 10, which is a light to medium with neutral undertones, and now I have this in the shade number 14, which is a light to medium with rosy undertones. This is really good. I mean, this works well. This works well as well. I feel like the neutral undertone again had a little bit of yellow in it. The finish, the coverage, the way this builds up, it is absolutely beautiful, and the way this wears, stunning. So if I do go to a special event, I tend to reach for this one because I know it just won't disappoint me. You can tell that somebody created this brand with a lot of like experience in makeup. And this is so beautiful. I don't know how many times I can say that. This one is almost empty. I will still empty this one, but I was just really curious to try a new undertone. And to be honest with you, both of these work on my skin, but every time I wore this, I was like, oh man, I wish this was just a tad bit cooler. It did work fine on me. I just felt like it is a little bit more yellow than the rosy undertone. I think this is the way to go, but I'm definitely a light to medium. And this comes in 40 shades. She has a lot of shades. She does an amazing job on like showing the shades on her website. I mean, this would have been my number one if it would have been released this year. So apart from the Lisa Aldrich foundation, I have been reaching for this one the most. I love it. It's the one that I'm wearing today. I freaking love this foundation. When this was released, I was so intrigued, and I'm so happy about this one in particular. It's my favorite release of the year when it comes to foundations. So this is the RMS Re-Evolve Natural Finish Liquid Foundation, and this retails for $48. Oh yes, this foundation is my number one foundation of the year. You know, this was the best released foundation in my humble opinion. This is just everything I was dreaming of in a bottle. Some people were actually weirded out by this packaging. I'm gonna explain this real quick to you. Look, if you turn this up, this is where the pump comes out, and if you take it out, this is how you will fill it. The one thing, if you buy this without the outer packaging, this may dry out because it does not really have a closure. So really this packaging is a closure for the foundation. It is just everything I wanted, from the finish to the coverage level to how this makes my skin look. This does not clog my pores. I mean, although this has olive fruit oil in it, it just does not clog my pores whatsoever. So the one thing I will criticize just slightly is the fact that RMS, for some bizarre reason, forgot to put shade descriptions underneath their shades. They just put pictures out and swatches and stuff. So I got a mismatch the very first time around, because I actually do have their existing cream foundation, the one that comes in a jar. And with that foundation, I always had the shade number 22. So I picked up the shade number 22, thinking it was the exact same shade, but it's actually a different shade with a different undertone. I think the value is kind of the same, but the undertone was very different. So the shade number 22 in this foundation leans so yellow. So I had to pick up a new shade. So I picked up a refillable cartridge and I just changed it. And now I have the shade number 22.5. I would describe this as a light to medium with perfectly neutral, leaning, cool undertones. It is just the most beautiful foundation I've tried this year, and I'm gonna tell you why. First off, the consistency here. I don't need much of this product to build up a decent amount of coverage. It is really easy to blend out, and what I love about this is the finish, the amount of coverage level that you can achieve. It has more of a natural sort of satin type of finish. Like, I feel like 2 layers is gonna give you a solid full coverage finish. I honestly just need 1 layer. Like, I feel like a medium coverage for me is the way to go. And I just need 2 pumps to do my entire face with this. It is just absolutely stunning. When I powder this down, I usually use my Fit Glow powder, which I also really love, with this foundation. And it just wears an entire day. It does not break up on me. It does not get greasy. It does not get oily. I mean, I'm wearing this foundation already since hours now. And it still looks so beautiful, absolutely stunning, and I just love this foundation. This, to me, is my favorite one. It is so stunning, it's beautiful, and I just love it. All right, you guys, but those were all of the foundations that I was able to try out this year. So now I'm really curious, are you guys actually agreeing with me? Are you disagreeing? Would you have given top number 1 spot to a different foundation? Do let me know what you've tried out, and keep in mind those were all the newly released foundations of this year. You know, those weren't the foundations that were released like 3 years ago that I still love. Maybe I should really do like best of foundations of all time. Let me know if that interests you, but please do drop me a comment down below. what was your favorite release of 2022 in terms of foundations. Apart from the Pacifica foundation, I do have reviews on all of these products on my channel, so you can just click on my search bar on my channel, type in the brand that you're interested in, and it should pop up. So I would really appreciate it if you would have a look at these videos as well. And in case you enjoyed this one, why not give it a big thumbs up? That would be extremely appreciated. And also, if you made it this far into the video and you just have not yet subscribed to my channel, why not hit the subscribe button and also ring the bell in order to stay notified about my upcoming video. So some of my upcoming videos will definitely include like the beauty fails and also my favorite makeup, all of the products, not just the foundations of 2022. So just stay tuned on here. But until then, please do take care. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.